Right, welcome to this unit tactics and showcase video. It's a chance to see one of the latest miniatures I've painted up in this particular episode, and then we'll be looking at tactics as well, so we'll look at it from a tactical point of view. It's 8th edition, new codex here for Adeptus Mechanicus, and it's Belisarius Cawl, and I've put off painting him for a long time because he's quite an epic task, but I've finally got him painted up, and he will be the warlord, he'll be the leader of my AdMech force. Specifically, I'm focusing in on Skitarii. If you know the previous army, new list I'm working on at the moment, it's Skitarii, all the units, and in the centre of the force is and an Imperial Knight. So that's the theme that I've gone for. So I haven't gone for all of the units that are inside this codex here. So what I'm going to do is show the miniature first of all. Took a fair while to paint here, but here he is finished up. Painted him in the classic Mars style, so copied the artwork that Games Workshop provide with the box set just there. I'm going to zoom in here so you can take a closer look. Alright, so there he is. Just giving you a 360 view, the view from on top. He is a large model for sure, so you know, for an army commander he's going to be a real focal point. So very, very happy with how he's come out. So if you like the results that I've achieved here, there is a regular painting tutorial on this channel for Skitarii, show you how to paint one of the Skitarii units, one of the infantry units, and it's the same process that I applied to painting Belisarius Cawl, obviously on a larger scale. And then over on the Plus channel, the link will be here just below this video. There is an in-depth painting tutorial. I'll show you how to paint one of the Onager Dunecrawlers, one of the larger, more challenging projects. And then for Belisarius Cawl, it's the first time really I've done one of the major characters in 40k, but I have done an in-depth painting tutorial for him. So from start to finish, that is on the Plus channel, in-depth painting tutorial. It's a brand new video, and I'll show you from start to finish how to paint him to that standard. So I filmed each step of the way. The idea of the painting tutorials is you just follow along step by step, give you all the materials and paints that you need, and then each step of the way you can pause it, follow along, follow the instructions that I give, and then play the video again, follow the next stage, and then right the way from start to finish you can end up achieving the exact same results here. We're really happy with how he's come out. I've based him up on the urban warfare base here as well, that colour scheme, a few little extra accessories and so on. I covered that in the painting tutorial also. So there he is. Now the question is he any good? We'll be checking him out now in the current edition here of 8th edition codex, the brand new codex. He's dropped 10 points, he's 240 points. He's expensive enough, but we'll check out now to see if he is any good. So nice focal point for the army, a real in 7th edition the Skitarii army I had was nice, but it sort of lacked a bit of personality, but now with the addition of him, and also Tech Priest Dominus as well, painted up, which is a tactics video of him already, then that'll really flesh the army out and give it a bit of personality as well. So very happy. I was already collecting this colour, as always, this artwork here that I liked, so I copied that colour scheme, which is Mars, and then Belisarius Cawl is Mars, so it fits just nice that he's the leader. So I reckon he took, just maybe you're wondering, he took about 16, between 16 and 20 hours, not entirely sure, about 16 hours, something like that. So not too bad really for the results there. So look him up, should be the first HQ. Yeah. So just to confirm, he is, oh no, he's gone up, sorry, he's 250 points here. This is the, no, chapter approved, right, chapter approved, he is 240. So we're going by that here, they've corrected the codex. So Belisarius Cawl, he's 240 points now, chapter approved, 2017, and then he's power level 13 here. I'm just going to focus in on the rules for this specific model here. Movement 6, so sort of a standard move, but not too slow, not too bad. Weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 2+, strength 5, toughness 6, 8 wounds. 8 wounds is a fantastic amount of wounds. There's no damage bracket for him, but it's a high amount of wounds, and also he can't be picked off because he has too many wounds. So you can hide behind stuff. It makes him harder to hit. So that's an excellent stat line. 4 attacks is great. Leadership 9 is really good, and a 2-up save. Remember, that's 2-up save with 8 wounds. So an excellent stat line. He's armed with an Arc Scourge, an Omniscion Axe, a Solar Atomizer, and a Mechahendrite Hive. He's armed to the teeth here, only 1 per army. Subscribers have been asking me saying, for these tactics videos, can you go through things like warlord traits, relics, and things like that. So stratagems and so on. So I do plan to add this in, so you get a full tactics for each of the units that I cover in this series. So it's fixed war gear. You can't swap in and out with options here for him, because he's a character, like a themed character is one you can't change around. So Solar Atomizer is 12-inch range. Assault D3, so you're going to get between 1 and 3 shots. Strength is no minus if you move those. It's going to be 2s to hit. Strength 10, this is epic here, and then minus 4, it's going to bypass most armour, and then D3 damage. But if the target's within half range, that's 6 inches, it's D6 damage. It's a nasty weapon at close range. That does, games that I've played with the Skitarii, it does happen, especially when you're up against armies that are more geared towards combat than the Admech army. These are half shooting, half combat is what I've geared my army towards for these. But when you're up against a very aggressive army like Tyranids or Blood Angels, for example, and they're upon you pretty quick, then a close range weapon like that can really help out. You know, to having him in amongst your ranks and then firing that kind of weapon is pretty good. So that's no complaints about the weapon at all. For the new list, by the way, it's over on the Plus channel. There's an army development video, and you can see the new Admech list, what I proposed there, and then you can go on there, you can leave your own comments and feedback and help change the list around if you think there's changes that need to take place, and you can help influence the final army. But I'm taking him as the warlord for this new list. There's loads of tweaks and changes to this one, because it went over from just finishing up at 7th edition, then went across to 8th edition, then came the indexes, then came the codex, and then further changes since chapter approved as well. So the list is constantly changing. So there's a fair amount of evolution taking place with this army. Arc Scourge, it's a melee weapon, times 2 strength, so if you're fighting it at strength 10, it's AP minus 1 damage. When you fight against a vehicle, it's D3 damage. So that weapon's okay. Yeah, better against tanks then for sure. It's not devastating, but it will cause some trouble. The Mechahendrite Hive, it's a melee weapon. Each time Belisarius Cawl fights, you can make 2d6 additional attacks with this weapon. So that helps him out against horde or light infantry type stuff. So you can fight pretty good against vehicles, hordes, and now the Omniscion Axe is a melee weapon. It's +1 strength, so it makes him strength 6, AP minus 2 and 2 damage. So if he's fighting against medium, heavier infantry, he's then got the axe as well. So he's got a selection of weapons that he's collected to fight against all different types of targets. So that war gear there, there's no complaints about it. None of it's terrible. It's all pretty good. Okay, and then what you can do, I think what you can do with the rules, each time you fight, you can make 2d6 additional attacks with this weapon. So you could dedicate one of your attacks to that weapon, in which case you'll get 2d6 more attacks, and you could use the remaining 3 attacks and use something else. I think that's how you can play it. So he's got Canticles with the Omniscion, and then the Archmagos. Well, Spelius, this is one of the main reasons I'm taking him, is to enhance his sphere of influence here. Whilst he is on the battlefield, you can subtract 1. You can add or subtract 1 rolling on the Canticles of the Omniscion table. So there's that flexibility. There's those 6 options there, just back here. I will cover these very briefly. So you can adjust your result by +1, -1. And then we'll cover another rule here. Yeah, no, it's not here, it's the trait that he has. I'll cover it now because it's going to make an impact here. Yeah, it's here. So Mars, there's loads of other options. I would like to have chosen others, but you're kind of locked into Mars with Belisarius Cawl because you lose a very important bonus which we'll cover later on. So I'm just going to stick with Mars. The one that I did like was the Styges, the Shroud Protocols, where your opponent must subtract 1 from their hit rolls when shooting at units with this dogma if they're more than 12 inches away. I mean, that's amazing, that's really good. Protect the units pretty nicely. So, but sort of stuck with Mars. But I still think that's pretty good. Each time you randomly determine a canticle of the Omnissiah is being canted, roll 2 dice instead of 1. All units of this dogma receive the benefit of both results instead of just the 1. And if a duplicate is rolled, then it's just that same results. You roll 2 2s, it's just a 2, you don't get any extras. Now, so you're going to get 2 results out of this, and then if it's Belisarius Cawl, those 2 results you can plus and minus. So very, very flexible here on the canticles. Now some of these aren't too good, but if you're flexible enough to adjust these, you can move around to the ones that you want. So Incantation of the Iron Soul, you can reroll failed morale tests. It's okay. I save you a reroll, like using a stratagem, so that one's alright. Litany of the Electromancer, roll d6 for each enemy unit that's within an inch. If you roll a 6, it's d3 mortal wounds. Not that high impact, it's quite hard to get a 6 there. So, I don't say it's that amazing. You could get a couple of 6s and it turns out pretty good. Chant of the Remorseless Fist, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 in the fight phase. Not bad, yeah, helpful enough. And remember, if you can adjust, you think, right, yes, I am going to be in close combat here, I can plus and minus to get onto the one that you want. Shroud Psalm, this is one I like. Affected units gain the bonus to their armor save throws as if they're in cover. Units in cover are unaffected, so all of a sudden your vehicles are just shrouded. And, you know, if there's a Dunecrawler on a 3-up save, suddenly it goes up to a 2-up save. So that Shroud Psalm is good. Invocation of the Machine Might. Affected units have +1 strength. It's not bad. It's not bad. And then Benediction of the Omnissiah. You can reroll failed hit rolls of 1 in the shooting phase. So these are quite specific depending on what phase you're wanting to enhance your army. So shooting or combat or morale, and then that ability to adjust and getting double results rolling 2 dice is helpful enough. So pretty good. It's worth. You've got to make the most of those with him. You know, Skitarii get access to them with Belisarius Cawl and Mars. You get the most out of them. That's the point I'm making there. So I think that's pretty good. Does have a 5+ invuln save. The next lot of rules here are really good. Self-repair mechanisms. At the beginning of each of your turns, Belisarius Cawl regains d3 lost wounds. So he can repair himself. It's fantastic. Imagine other situations will be, he's in the middle of your force, you've got infantry around here and vehicles, the opponent lands in, maybe he's protected, he's not been killed, but the opponent's starting to break in. He then goes into a target, takes on in combat, starts taking a bit of damage, he wipes out the target or he's still locked in combat. So he's going to take a few wounds, but he doesn't die. That's the perfect rule there. He just starts to repair himself and then we'll keep going all the way so he's back up to 8 wounds again. It's a fantastic rule. He's tough enough. As long as he doesn't get caught out in an ambush of some kind, if he's surrounded and protected, he'll be very hard to root out. You know, maybe a sniper starts firing him, picks off a few wounds here and there, just repairs himself. So, pretty good. The next one here, these are also good. These are also good. Yeah, I'm just thinking, is he locked into his Forge World? I think he is. It says here, faction keyword is Mars. For other units, like a Tech Priest Dominus, for example, it's Forge World in brackets here. So the Forge World you can swap out for Styges, Mars, whatever you want. But Mars, I think you have to go Mars with him, I believe. So, Master of Machines. At the end of your movement phase, Belisarius Cawl can repair a single friendly Imperium model within 3 inches. Yeah. Ooh, no, this is different. This is different. I've only just noticed this. Right here, it's got Master of Machines. The Deck Priest Dominus. It's a similar rule. It's the same rule, but he can repair a single friendly brackets Forge World or Questa Mechanicus. So you're restricted to units in this book for him, but for Belisarius Cawl, it's an Imperium model. So you could repair an Ultramarines Predator, for example. or a Lehman Russ. And it's a Imperium model. Well, could that be an Ogryn then? It's Imperium models here. It's not like infantry units or vehicles. It just says models. I mean, the scope of what he can repair is very flexible here. But he can't repair himself. But he has that rule anyway where he can repair himself. The model being repaired regains 1 lost wound, unless it is an Adeptus Mechanicus model, in which case it regains D3 lost wounds. So he is better at repairing his own units within this book here. A model may not be the target of the Master Machine's ability more than once per turn, so you can't gang these up and do a mega repair on one unit. But no, he's definitely better at repairing his own units from here. And then this one here, Lord of Mars, and this is just going to help out my entire army. You can reroll hit rolls in the shooting phase for friendly Mars units within 6. She's got that 6-inch sphere of influence. Units, that's infantry, vehicles, just rerolling hits for shooting. Fantastic. It really is good. But it's restricted here. It's not brackets Forgeron, it is Mars. It's Mars units. So I do need to take a Mars based army. But I couldn't drop that. And lose that. That's fixed for Mars and it's worth taking that. So there he is. So decent enough stat line, decent enough in close combat, tough enough, hard to kill, a great leader, and then some amazing rules and bonuses that he grants other units. So I think it's well worth the points, and an amazing focal point here. Just the incredible sculpting work that Games Workshop have done with this model. It's one of their great achievements in recent times. So pretty good. So we've talked about the bonuses here for him. So that's pretty good. The ability to roll 2 dice, take 2, and you can adjust them by 1 up and down along there. So it's very flexible. You can play that a lot more tactically than just one roll, and it's fixed. It's kind of useless, but with that ability that he has, getting double out of that and adjusting the table, very tactical that there. You can make good use of it. Now, relics, you can't give relics to him, he's already carrying them, or you can't add relics to a fixed character, so I have to give that relic, perhaps what it will be to Tech Priest Dominus. He'll receive one of the relics from the books, will not cover those. Belisarius Cawl can't pick and choose from there. Yeah, just checking the rules here. Warlord traits, I thought you might be able to choose one, but if Belisarius Cawl is your warlord, he always has the static Psalm Code trait, so none of those then. It's static Psalm Code, which fits with Mars. So, add 3 inches to the range of any aura abilities in your warlord's data sheet, such as Lord of the Machine Cult. Right, so then that means that it's interesting. Such as Lord of the Machine Cult. I take it it's this one here, Lord of Mars. So his 6-inch impact or range there, the bubble for rerolls to hit in the shooting phase becomes 9 inches. That expands that out, and that's nice. You can have a broader line. You've got your Dunecrawlers all along, your infantry spread out. 9-inch bubble for him to influence with that. So that's okay. You need to remember that in game, just to add those 3 inches on it. It's the range of any aura abilities on your warlord's data sheet. So that's that. So then, for stratagems, then you've got none of these here really. You've got Wrath of Mars, it's 2 command points. Each time you make a roll of a 6 for that unit, the target suffers a mortal wound. It's not worth using that on him, just with 4 attacks, so that one's not really worth using. And then it's the Psycha, Metallica, it's all the different Quests Mechanicus, and none of those can be used for Belisarius Cawl, it's just these here. So in these ones here, you've got Gloria Mechanicus. You can choose your Canticle. It's 2 command points. Oh wait, really redundant really with him, the ability to adjust anyway, so you rarely need that. It's quite expensive, 2 command points. Same with Divine Chorus as well. You can reuse one that's been used. 2 command points, there's no point for that. So then for these ones here, this is for Electro Priest, Zealous Congregation, Elimination Volley. Is Cataphron Destroyers, Castellan Robots here, so you're sort of cutting these down, there's not many available. Adeptus Mechanicus characters, That's for your relics. That's not going to apply to him either. Scry's Skull, subjective markers, data spike. If it hits, it's D3 mortal wounds against a character or enemy vehicle within an inch. That's quite helpful. The data spike, play that. Could help you out there. Use your strategy immediately after fighting an Adeptus Mechanicus character, which is resolve one additional attack against an enemy vehicle within an inch of the character. If it hits, remember you're on 2+, you then get D3 mortal wounds against it. That is helpful. I mean, you're fighting against a vehicle, Belisarius Cawl fights, there's 1 wound left or 2 wounds left. You think, oh, I wish I just had taken that vehicle out. You remember that stratagem, play it, 2 up, get the hit, D3 mortal wounds. So that is helpful. That is helpful. Cognis Overwatch. Doesn't have any Cognis weapons. There's only a handful here that you can use specifically for him. So this is Skitarii. This is add 1 to hit rolls here. Conqueror Doctriner. Add 1 to the hit rolls. Then you've got Benevolence of the Omnis on the side. It's ignoring mortal wounds that come through. That could help him out if he finds himself in trouble. Tech, these are ones that you really need to remember just at the exact right point during the game, because you easily forget you've got access to things like this. Tech Adept. Use the stratagem after Adeptus Mechanicus character for has used ability to repair a friendly model, for example Master Machines. This applies to him. The character can immediately attempt to use the ability again and can even use it to repair the same model, so that is helpful. So you get D3 restore wounds, and then you play this stratagem, D3 wounds, gets a potential of 6 wounds restored in a turn, so that one's very, very helpful. There's a couple here that are pretty good for him. Machine Spirit Resurgent is for vehicles of Quest of Mechanicus. Rage of the Machines, so vehicles, Iron Strider of Balistarii, Infantry, with an objective marker, Info Slave Skull. Infantry units can immediately shoot a snap, that's for catching someone that comes in from reserve. In which case, the question is he infantry? He is, yep, so you could use that one, Info Slave Skull. Someone comes on the table and you can ambush them. I doubt he's ever going to need to do that, there's going to be other units that would be preferable to use for that. And the Machine Spirit's Revenge, it's for a vehicle when it's destroyed. It auto explodes. There's only 2 or 3 really that are effective for him there, but the ability to repair again is pretty good, and that data spike's helpful. That one's helpful, so it's those 2 I try and bear in mind when using him in the middle of a game. So that's the rules then, and the tactics you can use. Just very briefly want to show you, just roll up a few dice just to give you an idea of how you choose your attacks for him. So, for example, here's Belisarius Cawl. Imagine your battle line fighting away. A situation comes up where there is a unit of boys. So in this instance, let's say he moves in. What's also quite flexible about him is the shooting weapon he has is assault. So remember, you can move 6 and then make an advanced move and still fire and still need a 3+ to hit. But he won't be able to assault if he does that, but that's worth bearing in mind if he needs to close in the range quickly to get those shots away. But 6-inch move, so these are breaking in, your other Skitarii units are busy trying to deal with other targets. So he'll get D3 shots then, just his shooting weapon. Gets 2 shots, it'll be 2s to hit. And re-rolls, because he's affected by his own bubble, I believe. So re-roll that, 2 hits, 2s to kill. Yeah, so he kills 2 of those orc boys. With that, it's AP -4, so there's no hope for them. Then charging in, it should be completely fine. So 5, 7, and then I usually give the knob a shooter. So 6s, and no wounds. 3, toughness 6. So he goes in, say he goes in. So in this situation with orc boys, I would use the Mechahundrite Hive and then combine that also with the Omnicine Axe. Go the Hive first and then save the axe, maybe kill the knob if he's still alive at the end. He's got 2 wounds and the damage is 2 on the Omnicine Axe. So you've got 4 attacks. I think I'm doing this right here. Give 3 attacks for the axe, and you dedicate 1 of your attacks to use on another weapon, which would be the Mechahedrite Hive. So there's 1 attack. He makes 2d6 additional attacks. There's 1 plus 5. I think that's how it works. He'll be on 2s to hit. Re-rolling. No, it's re-roll hits in the shooting phase, so that misses. Strength 5, toughness 4, so freeze to wound. And then there is no minus, so it's a 6-up save. It's perfect for taking out low armor save models. So you've taken out 3. That was a pretty poor roll on the Mechahedrite Hive. 3 attacks with the axe now, 2s to hit. And then plus 1 strength, so strength 6, 3s to wound. 2 of them wound, and it's minus 2 and 2 damage, so 2 more killed. So he's not utterly amazing against hordes, but he's able to chop down a fair few. That Mechahedrite Hive really helps out. You know, if he's just lumbering away with 4 attacks with an axe, he's going to struggle to gradually bring models down, but he's brought down 5 there, and that wasn't a particularly impressive round. He could have done a lot better, and even to the point of even wiping out the unit there. So it shows you what he can do against that kind of target. These Orc boys here are really going to struggle against him to cause any kind of trouble. Maybe the combat goes on, he wipes out eventually, takes 2 wounds, 3 wounds, you just repair him, slink back in behind the lines, and then repair himself, and then start repairing other models as well. So, pretty good. So next kind of target then is via vehicle. So say we've got an Orc truck here. This is more his kind of target. So he moves in, nice and close, so it's broken into the Skitarii line. We'll go D3, this is quite important now with this arc, the solar atomizer. 2 shots, that's not bad, that's your average. 2s to hit. Do get the hits, it's nice reliable firepower. We are within half range, within 6 inches. So in strength 10, freeze to wound, 2 wounds, it's minus 4 to go straight through, so it's 2d6 damage, and 11. We'll see if that's just destroyed that. So you'd be free to charge against something else if it's in range. But we'll see if Ramshackle will help him out. No, and no. Okay, so he's just destroyed that. Let's say it's not destroyed. Let's say he charges in. So the attacks you'd use for that would probably be, you could go on the Sign Axe, it's okay, or you can go Arc Scourge. The damage is D3, strength 10. See, the Arc Scourge is strength 10 for him, or on the Omnicine Axe is strength 6. I want to be freeze to wound, I want to be forced to wound, but then you get minus 2. So it's difficult to call actually, they're not. We'll try out the Arc Scourge here, just for illustration. So 4 attacks, need 2s to hit. Scourge, 1's missed. Freeze to wound, really struggling here. And then it's a 5-up save. Not saved, it's D3 damage, which is 3 wounds. See, in combat, he's not going to cut his way through vehicles particularly well. That's what 3 wounds is actually a pretty good result from that round. So you don't expect him to charge into vehicles and destroy them. It's not going to happen. So that's where things like that play data spike, 2s to hit, D3 mortal wounds, 3 more mortal wounds. Suddenly you've turned 3 wounds into 6 wounds. See, I remembered that, and it's just doubled the effectiveness of that round of combat. That is helpful. So data spike is one that's well worth remembering for him. Next kind of target here, these, something nastier. We'll maybe let them fight back as well, just to see how well he does. This is a tougher task here against these Meganobs. So what will be helpful for him is the shooting phase. So it's just 1 shot though, does get his hit. It's 2s to wound, yes. It's minus 4, so 2 up, 3 up, 4 up, 5 up. 6 up save, no. And it's D6 wounds, 3, which is enough to kill 1. That is very, very helpful for him. We'll charge him in, so he'll have to weather a little bit of Overwatch here. There's a couple of wounds, which he passes with ease with his 2-up save. So in he goes. So in this situation, the damage is only 1 when you fight with the Arc Scourge. So you want to use the Omnicine Axe here. So 4 attacks. The Hive's no good because these guys have a 2-up save. So 2 misses, bit of a struggle here. 3s to wound. 2 wounds do come through. It is -2, so they go down to a 4-up save, which they pass. So, see what kind of damage they can do in return. So you may find yourself in a bit of trouble here. But it does have the wounds to absorb a fair amount of damage. 4s to hit. 3s to wound. 2 wounds come through. He'll drop down to his... Well, it's either a 5-up in one save, or his armor drops to 5-up. So it's 5-ups. Save none, so 2d3. Okay, she's taken 5 damage. Now that's the kind of point where you would pull out of there and say, right, we've met our match, and pull out of that combat and let something else take over. But then the later turns, it's d3 wounds, that 5 drops down to a 2, and then on the next turn it's 2 wounds, a couple of turns is regained, and it's one of the most frustrating things if you're up against an army that does that, it just repairs itself. It's so annoying. I've seen opponents, and I've had it myself, where it's just really frustrating. You do your damage, you think, yes, there's damage there, and it doesn't last for the game. The opponent starts to remove that fairly. You know, it's in the rules, but it's frustrating when that happens. So it's a great ability to have for him. So it just gives you an idea of what weapons to use. So not utterly deadly in combat. I'm not expecting him to be utterly... You can contribute, you can join him with other units and help them out a bit, but he's not going to be this amazing character that's going to charge in and then slaughter units. He's not there to do it. It's sort of a last resort for him. It's more the bonuses and the repair ability is why I've taken him in the list. But that is the tactics video and showcase here for Belisarius Cawl. Again, if you like the way he's come out, you want to paint yours up in that Mars colour scheme, you like the effects and the results that I've got, then check out the Plus channel. You'll see the painting tutorial for him on there. And then also the Skitarii painting tutorial on the channel here, the regular painting tutorial for Skitarii infantry. And then on the Plus channel as well, there is the in-depth painting tutorial for the Dunecrawler, for that there as well. And if you want to see this army develop and grow, and even have your own influence on the final list, then check out the army development video on the Plus channel as well. But there it is, that's the tactics showcase video for Belisarius Cawl. Very excited to have him painted up and ready to lead this Adeptus Mechanicus force in the future. I'm getting close to finishing the army, so keep a lookout for them in the future. Keep a lookout for more tactics videos as well. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.